Good morning. Welcome to Friday Drop-In Meditation. I'm Alan. So I hope today we can not have any technical problems. Unpredictable. I think it's something to do with the traffic, I've been told, the internet traffic. If there's any problems, I'll keep going because I've been told me that often the recording continues. So YouTube still recording the session. So if you can't get me, the sound drops out. It's possible when you come back and have a look later that the whole session's there, or most of it's there. So hopefully we'll have no problems. So welcome. So we normally start with a few words from the great masters, just a quote of the day. Today it's Lama Yeshe, and it's on sleeping. He's talking about how important it is to sleep or with a positive mind, and how sleep can actually be very beneficial. Normally, I think in Buddhist psychology, it's said to be a neutral state. Sleeping is a neutral state, neither positive nor negative. So in this teaching, Lama Yeshe tells us that we can actually use sleep in a very positive way. First of all, to be aware of what's happening in our dreams, and secondly, using it as a exercise in emptiness. We wake up realizing that all those seemingly real situations in dreams are completely empty of existing from their own side. There's nothing there. So just to quote a few lines from Lama Yeshe, most of the time people fall asleep with their mind in an uncontrolled or even disturbed state. Much better to maintain awareness while falling asleep than fall to sleep distractedly. If you can meditate in bed, this is extremely beneficial, since your entire sleep can be transformed into Dharma wisdom. So he says that the thoughts as we go to sleep are the main things that will determine our sleep just before we go to sleep. He says, check carefully to see what your mental impressions are predominantly as you fall asleep, as you're waiting for sleep to come. You might have been very conscious of your actions during the day, but if you go to sleep without examining your mind, you can waste whatever positive energy you've created. So one reason he says that it's important to go to sleep peacefully is that the dream state is much more powerful than the waking state. He says the reason for this is that during the waking state, even if we're paying attention closely to something or someone, your other senses are still open and they respond to conflicting impressions they see. We're still opening to hearing something, feeling something, whatever. But during your dreams, all the five senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, are not active. So when you see something in a dream, you do so exclusively with your mind's eye and not your physical one. So in the absence of such sensory distractions, your mind is left naturally concentrated with great energy. So the effect of dreaming about something negative like grasping can be much stronger, leave a deeper imprint on our minds in the state of dreaming state than it would be to just have a thought of attachment during the daytime. So similarly, if we in our dreams focus on aspect of the spiritual path, some Dharma matter, maybe a dreaming of our teacher, our guru, then it's much more powerful. So the second why dreams are useful is to help us understand the subject of emptiness, the fact that everything is subject to causes, conditions, and nothing is inherently existing from its own side. So he says, so when you wake up, what have happened to all those appearances that we had in the dream? To the dream mind, they were very real, but to the waking mind, They're only an insubstantial memory. When we wake up, we realize that they were only the projections of our dreaming mind. No matter how real they seemed in the dream, these people and things lack even one atom of self-existence. Completely empty of any objective existence whatsoever, they're only the hallucination of our dream experience. Similarly, everything we experience while we awake, including our strong sense of self, is also empty of true existence. So we can use that dream example to apply to the way things appear in our waking state. All right, now we'll do our mindfulness meditation. So remember, we're using breath. Always to start off with the breath, which is always there. We're just giving it our full attention. So as variations, today I'll offer the option of moving from the breath to sound, what we hear. If we're at home, it might be very quiet. Also, there could be some annoying neighbour blowing leaves around with the machine or whatever. So no matter what the sound is, we'll just focus on sound as an option, or you can stay with the breath for maybe 5 minutes, and then the last one will be moving to thoughts, what's happening in the mind, letting go of all sensory awareness and just focusing on the mental state, what's coming into the mind. So with all these objects of our meditation, we're just observing. We're looking at the breath without judging whether it's a good breath or a bad breath. Listening to the sound as if it's just a neutral phenomena, not a good sound, bad sound, annoying sound. And looking at the thoughts the same way, just thoughts, activities of the mind. So if we find ourselves judging, we'll just be aware of that. Creating that space between the object and our mind, our mind that might be tempted to judge good or bad, etc. Right. All right, so let's start with our breathing meditation. So we begin always with just setting our motivation. Just a few moments to feel some gratitude that we can, despite all the changes and upsets in the world at the moment, we can spend some time taking care of our minds, being kind to our minds. Just leave outside the routine of the day. Just becoming aware of our internal world, accepting whatever's happening in our internal world and working with it. Doing the practice without any great expectations. All our practices are not just for our own benefit, but benefit of other beings, ultimately all sentient beings. Now beginning with the body, bringing our awareness into the body, making sure we're comfortable. Whether we're on the floor, on a chair, lying down. being fully aware of the body making contact with the floor or the chair, fully aware of the body making contact with the floor or the chair. Making sure our upper body's comfortable, the shoulders relaxed. The eyes can be open or closed. If open, just gently gazing in front. And then giving more attention to the breath, particularly the out breath. And then giving more attention to the breath, particularly the out breath. Feel that we're letting go with each out breath. Letting go of the physical, holding on in the body. Allowing ourselves to be held by the earth, gentle pull of gravity into the earth. Also, with each out breath, letting go of the busy mind, the distracted mind, breathing that out. Relaxed with each out breath. Then becoming aware of the whole breath, full flow of the in-breath, full flow of the out-breath. The breath is always there, but now we're finally noticing it, being fully aware. The movement of the body with the breath. The more we focus on the breath, the less opportunity the mind has to wander, to past, future. It's in the present moment, on the breath. When we leave the breath. When we leave the breath and we notice, that's the practice. Be happy, be noticed. Just let go of that distraction, that thought, memory, sound. patiently, gently come back to the breath. Bring the mind home. Now the option of gently letting go of the breath, moving to sound awareness, what we can hear outside the room, external sounds in the room, internal of silence, what we hear. Let there be just what we hear. The quieter the mind is, the more sounds we might hear. Remember to always come back. So then the option of either staying with sound awareness or breath awareness, or letting go of all sensory awareness, or sounds or touches, or sights, or smells, and just coming to the mind, mental activity, letting them in, but not holding on, allowing them to leave, letting them go. Conversation, images, emotions, allowing them to go out, and watching, not connecting, not judging, just watching. Unease, home to the breath, or stay with the thoughts. Just relax, have a stretch, need to have a sip of something to refresh. So if you're experiencing any problems hearing or seeing or any technical problems, just feel free to just put a comment there. It's always good to know what's happening from the other side. Or if you've got any questions, comments, feel free to say something where it says say something there. So, second practice, this is the analytical meditation about self-kindness. Self-kindness, also called self-compassion, self-forgiveness. May the I be happy. May I be happy. So this is an important thing to practice, make peace with ourselves. And we haven't done this one for our mistakes. So I've mentioned before, this practice is particularly well discussed. So this is the former translator for Dalai Lama wrote a book called The Fearless Heart. So you'll find many practices on self-compassion in that book, The Fearless Heart. So in the practice, first thing is to actually recognize the times when we do judge ourselves too harshly, self-reproach, make a mistake, and instead of just regretting it and moving on, we tend to might dwell on it. We might judge ourselves incredibly harshly, saying how stupid I am. Not only did I make a mistake, but I am stupid. You identify with the mistake. So this is very fixed, can be very fixed attitude. I'll always be like this. I'll never be any good. Don't deserve to be happy. Nobody loves me. So these little whispers in the back of our mind, maybe first step then is to observe the self-reproach, the self-judgment. Second one is, and in the practice we bring to mind some time where we can remember where we've judged ourselves harshly. Then we actually see we're taking the view of the supporter, the person who's explaining why we've done this, the kind person who's not necessarily justifying our mistake, but finding some reason that we might have done it. We're human, not enlightened. So perhaps at the time we felt belittled. We might have lashed out at someone who said something bad to us. We might have just felt frustrated. It might have been a situation where we just didn't do anything to anyone else, but we just overindulged. Maybe ate too much, bought too much online, whatever. So just that's taking the view of not the judger, but the defender, the defense, which we very rarely do. So it's important to get practice at forgiving. This is the forgiving part of ourselves. Yes, I did make a mistake, but it's not that bad. I did that because of this. At the time, I thought that. So for human reasons, we look at our humanity. So we can regret and accept, move on, rather than feel guilt and dwell and judge and get stuck in that sort of self-reproach. So this is an actively empathizing with ourselves, giving ourselves some positive supporting ourselves. So the last one is to just bring to mind. First, the next thing is to breathe out all that regret, that holding on, that guilt. If we've got any, using the breath, breathing it out, we can let go of any of that tendency to self-reproach and feel guilty. We spend some time on that, letting it out. And then the last one, we just bring to mind our positive qualities. We do have some compassion, we have some patience. We bring to mind some examples, and then we bring to mind our incredible potential with the human body, precious human rebirth, precious human body, and wish ourselves well. And then wish others well. As we wish ourselves well, others also So we start our practice on self-kindness, self-forgiveness, bringing to mind something that a time where we did something or said something that we later regretted, wish we hadn't done or said. And then we reproached ourselves. We judged ourselves harshly. Could have been something we didn't do that we wish we had. It might have been something that didn't affect others. Affect only ourselves. Indulging ourselves, eating too much, spending too much. The main thing is, without going into the details, the feeling of self-judgment, staying with how we self-judged, we criticised ourselves. We thought we did something extremely bad and identified with that. We are bad because we did that bad thing. Looking for those little reproachful words that come up in our minds. I'm not worthy. I'm a bad meditator. I'm an angry person. Don't deserve to be happy. Admitting, if we do have this tendency, that it's there, just being aware of the fault, admitting the fault. So the second step is to us empathize with our mistake instead of judging ourselves, taking the defense, the side where we weren't all bad, we understand why we did what we did, looking at why we did what we did. Perhaps there was an unmet need that made me lose my temper. That need could have been something other than the issue, something underlying, something simmering below the surface. Could have been something we've been through, some trauma, some loss. Perhaps I felt disrespected in the situation. Perhaps I felt silence when I wanted to speak, say something. These are human reasons. Admit they're human reasons. We're not enlightened, so we make mistakes. We will make mistakes. We have made mistakes. It's all right. We are not the mistake. They're like clouds, negative, ephemeral phenomena passing through the mind. We recognise what we did was unskillful, yes, but the underlying need was perhaps legitimate. If there's a resistance in same time, we can feel regret of what we did or done or have done without feeling shame or guilt. That was wrong, yes. Unskillful. I can learn from that. I can move on. I won't dwell. If you touch the underlying need that spark the feelings, spark the unskillful words or actions, then stay with that. Pause with these feelings. Identify them. Next step is to breathe out all these reproachful thoughts, these feelings of guilt, using the breath, the out breath. First of all, coming to the breath. Then using the out breath to breathe out all these reproachful thoughts, letting go of any tightness of mind, any guilt. I can let go. I am letting go. Each out breath, we're freeing ourselves. We're letting go. Staying with that. Breathing out. I'm letting go. I can let go. Feel that sense of release as we let go, staying with the out breath, staying with letting go. All this guilt, regret, holding on is not me. Just like clouds in the sky, these can be released, let go, sent beyond space. Breathing it out. Now we just take a positive attitude and recall our virtuous actions, things that we've done in the past that we may have skipped over, acts of compassion and kindness. We do have the foundations of compassion and kindness. We have acted kindly to others. Perhaps recall individual acts we've done, or skills to others. We have done it. Recognize it. Acknowledge it. Acts of generosity. We have given acts of kindness, generosity, giving. We've connected with the teachings, incredible resource of teachings, made connections with the teachers. We're on the path to liberation, enlightenment. We have Buddhist practice. We have the human body, the human brain, so we can practice. We can work with the mind. We can calm the mind and take care of it, restore it to its natural state, generate qualities, infinite good qualities, like the Buddha. It's been done before. Anything we're not satisfied with about ourselves is our delusions. We blame the delusions, not ourselves. Blame the ignorance, blame the anger, blame these impermanent negative emotions. And we have this incredible Buddha potential. Time to practice Dharma. And interest in the Dharma must have been incredible merit generated in the past lives, to bring us to this point. Acknowledging it. Things like myself, may you, like myself, be happy, healthy, and live in peace. Success, wisdom, enlightenment. So just to finish, just reading dedication from Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the one he's recommended for our coronavirus practice, the end of our practice. Due to the merits of the 3 times collected by me, all the numberless Buddhas and the numberless sentient beings, may all wars, sickness, famine, torture, poverty, and economic problems in the world, all dangers of earth, fire, water and wind be pacified immediately, and may perfect peace and happiness prevail in everyone's hearts and everyone's lives. May the Buddha Dharma last for a long time, and may the sentient All right, thank you. So good to make a connection. Hope to see you same time next week. Have a great day and a great week. And stay well and stay happy. Ending stream. I'm leaving the stream. Bye.